This video is brought to you by StoneAgeGamer.com, a fantastic site for retro games, systems, accessories, and more. Be sure to check out StoneAgeGamer.com. Skip it up and that up. So Microsoft may make an Xbox 360 emulator for the Xbox One. Shout out goes to YouTube user Craighead Pro for sending me this article. He has an awesome YouTube channel. He also talks about news, and even though he has a similar style to me, he does have a different take on a lot of different things, and his production value is awesome. I strongly recommend you check out his YouTube channel. I'm personally subscribed to it. I give it 2 thumbs up. Link below in the description. So at a recent developers conference, Microsoft said they are looking into backwards capabilities for the Xbox One, and they are looking into making an emulator for their next gen or now current gen console. This is what development head Frank Savage had to say on the topic. Simply put, there are plans for an Xbox 360 emulator on Xbox One. He also said that Microsoft is not done thinking them through, as I kind of predicted. Technical difficulties unfortunately stand in the way. Savage also went on to say, I would love to see it myself. Now, I've shared with you multiple times, I personally don't care about backwards compatibility. If I want to play the old games, I'll either buy the old console again, or if I still have it, I'll whip it out. I'm talking about a console, not something else. And I'll hook it up to my TV and play the old games. I understand it's more efficient and easier and cleaner to try to play your games all on one console, but whatever, you know. I mean, Xbox 360s, I have a friend of mine who he repairs them, and he wanted to sell me one for $25. I mean, it may only last 6 months, but whatever. It's easy to get my hands on an Xbox 360, but at the same time, fine. I could see why, even though I personally could give a crap, I could see why people would want backwards compatibility. With that being said, I know the technical, I'm not a hardware engineer, but I know enough not to be full retard. And I know that when you go, the Xbox 360 was based on the PowerPC architecture. It had a triple core processor in the Xbox 360 that had that could handle 2 threads of code per core. It was hyper-threaded or multi-threaded, whatever you want to say. Hyper-threading's Intel. And now they're back to, because they were x86 with the original Xbox, and now they're back to x86 with the Xbox One, 64-bit now, of course. So you're going from PowerPC architecture with the 360 to x86 64-bit architecture with the Xbox One, and both the processors in the PS4 and Xbox One aren't super powerful. All right, they per core, they can't do too much. And the way that Sony and Microsoft designed the consoles is to really get the power out of them. I'm not saying the processors are crap, but to get the power out of them, the developers really need to utilize all 8 cores, because if you're only utilizing 1 or 2, the processors are pretty anemic. And I think that's where the issue comes in with emulating the Xbox 360, is that the CPUs in both the PS4 and Xbox One, because they're identical, it's why I keep on bringing up the PlayStation 4 as well with this, they're not super powerful. So for them to make an emulator for the Xbox 360 on there, it's probably going to take a lot of work, and they're probably going to have to utilize all 8 cores when they write code for the emulator to make Xbox 360 games run smooth and run stable. So it's not going to be an easy task. And I bet you, kind of like what they did with the Xbox 360 when it came to backwards compatibility with the original Xbox, they're probably going to release updates for more games. It's not like they're going to have this really super stable emulator from the get-go that's going to work with every single Xbox 360 game. It's probably they're going to have a new patch that comes out that'll let it work with Gears of War 1 and 2. Then they'll have another patch that lets it work with Gears of War 3. And then they'll have another patch that lets it work with Halo 3 and Halo Reach and Halo 4. So even if they do release an official emulator for the Xbox One to let it work with Xbox 360 games, don't expect it to have 100% compatibility with the Xbox 360 games from the get-go. It may never have it. They just may need to keep on releasing updates for it to work with more Xbox 360 titles. So it's not going to be perfect, and even when they do release it, it's probably not going to run a lot of games from the get-go. So it's going to be a work in progress, probably for a very long time. So be patient. All right, folks, make sure to rate, comment, favorite, favorite, and subscribe. And if you have an interesting news story you would like me to discuss, private message me with a link via YouTube. And if I use your news article, I will give you a shout out in the video and feature your YouTube channel in the description. Have a good one.